I'm gonna do a lot of rambling.
I'm just gonna give you one of these.
I'm gonna do a lot of rambling albums. But so what? That's my point. His cause is bigger than that. It's bigger than what he's talking about. Because him and Hov at the top. We've been doing this for a year. Those two niggas are fighting about. Let me be the one to say it, since nobody else will say it. Drake, Hov, whatever the niggas at the top of music know is coming, they're preparing for it. And if you love music and are passionate about music, nigga, you better prepare for it too. There's a trickle-down effect occurring now. Not later. Now. Niggas is fighting for position. Now. I think that kid on that album that I heard sounds real fucking uninspired. You can't fool a real nigga. You can fool them. You can fool the people that are not paying attention. I played that album all the way to DC and all the way back multiple times. 40, you sound amazing. 40 continues to progress. Drake, you do not. I said the other day on this podcast, I miss the Drake that starts the waves, not hops on other waves. And I'll say it again. I miss Drake that an agenda, not let the agenda push him. And that is why I will. Big difference between a Drake and a Hov while they both at the top. Young boy, learn your fuck. I'll ask you a question. I want you to answer it. Tell me what you have learned about Drake from Take Care to now.
That he is now looking at the bigger picture as an artist, and he's not going to sit here and give us say what's real.
We're talking about
he is now catering to
listen,
him becoming a star.
I have to stop talking to Rory about this now. I'm not telling you to not have your perspective.
I'm telling you why it sounds this way and what I learned from him and his personality.
Well, let me tell you this.
He is now continuing on. He's not going to give us that same shit that he continues to give us because he is seeing a bigger picture as a bigger artist.
Let me tell you something.
He's not a rapper.
Rory, I don't have time to listen to this fuck shit that you're saying. I'm not telling you to not have your opinion. It's just wrong.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
What has he told you different from Take Care to this album? And if that was never more visible than this album, when I'm riding listening to 1 through 8, my nigga, and it's the same thing told not as dope as you already fucking told me. It tells me somebody needs. I could not feel what he was saying. And for me, when I got to the end, and you talk about a man who was afforded everything that he asked for on So Far Gone, yet sounds so unenthusiastic about it. You talk about a man that has been hinting at stuff. This meticulous man has been hinting at things happening, going on. He just won't explain. Know why? He keeps telling us about the hoes and what he's doing wrong and how he's guilty. My nigga, you get any bitch in the world. Now, while I'm not saying that.
Is mentioned in the.
Okay.
They broke down the lyrics. They put out pictures of him and Lotto's 21-year-old sister, who is from Clayco, I guess. I learned all of this on the fly.
Okay.
I never knew Lotto had a sister.
Yeah.
But apparently Clayco is mentioned in the remix, so people assume that the remix verse was about Lotto's 21-year-old sister. What do you guys have to say?
Listen. Let's stay out of niggas' business.
It's tough. Let
me stand on business.
Oh, shit. All right. Let me move out of the way.
We sit up here and we talk about all the nastiness that we've watched with Drea and Homeboy, right? Mm-hmm. And we've compared the ages and certain things and said, that's nasty. Let's just be real. If Drake is fucking that 21-year-old girl, it's nasty. I said it about Leonardo DiCaprio when he was fucking around with these 19 and 20-year-olds. It looks nasty. If at this point you as a 40, close to 40,
almost 40,
37,
whatever, close to 40, and you're deciding to still fuck on these young 21-year-olds, I'm still trying to realize, what do you see in these young girls outside of the looks?
What if he just went to dinner with her?
Cool. Yeah, I just think it's nasty. If it's true, I think it's nasty.
Can we speak? I think it's nasty as well. I think fucking with these young girls, I don't care how up you are, I've been against it. And Drake is no better. If that's what he's doing, it's nasty. If all of this is true, yes, it is disgusting.
And that's the verse that Yachty said is arguably one of the best verses Drake has ever written. It's nowhere on this project.
No. Mm-hmm.
When is the last what is the last memorable hook you've heard from Drake? Even when he used to do features, it was his dominant hook.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard a dominant hook from Drake in a long time. He don't rap the way that he stays scheming, take care, views.
5 a.m.
That if you're reading this
is
so far gone. Even some of the shit that was on what was that? Scorpion, More Life. What was that? One of them shits. This is like Yachty rapping. This is like he rapping for the children. And that's my dog. I had to look up how old this was when I finished listening to the album.
Mm-hmm.
You are 36. Your birthday is in 20 days. I Googled that too. You only 37 years old. Get the fuck away from some of these younger niggas and stop fucking these 25-year-olds.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
When Joe was 36, he was definitely outside with some 25-year-olds. I'm talking about that statement. I'm talking about that particular statement. When I was 36, I was outside. When you got money in your pocket and you're a bachelor, you outside, bro.
Okay.
Drake is a bachelor, a very rich one.
Yeah. Stop fucking these 25-year-olds.
What's wrong with y'all? You niggas are crazy.
You crazy, man. You crazy, man. You crazy, man. You crazy, man.
Back at it like a crack addict, automatic like a fomatic, built from tragedy, made for static. It's your boy, Perfect Time Podcast with the blast in your ass real fast. Today's topic is why Drake, man? Why Drake? Because all this been happening and we ain't broke this down. So a lot of things was said in the entire beef between Kendrick and Drake. But what was not unraveled was some of the things that Kendrick said about Drake and how he addresses black women, actual ladies versus individuals like Sexy Red. Make sure you check in and tap in with my latest video on Sexy Red, just so you can understand the context of what Kendrick was saying when you hang around people like Sexy Red and not actual black women and ladies like the mayor of Compton. Let's keep going. So the culture vulture situation didn't just start. The culture vulture situation started with the inception of Drake. So you have to understand how and why you got Drake from the beginning. How and why did you get Drake from the beginning? Pop moved from substance, from having verses and lyrics, 3 verses, 5 minutes, complex conceptual limericks, rhymes, poems, and sonnets to a 1:30 pop bubblegum-licious that was ushered in by your favorite hip-hop artist. Yes, I said it, Drake. So why Drake? Why Drake? Because the music industry was shifting. Why Drake? Because the culture was shifting in a positive direction. Hip-hop has always been a catalyst in the black community for positive political mobility, positive political action. When you hear Fight the Power, when you hear BDP, you must learn. It's politically motivated, activated, charged, and intelligent black Americans moving progressively. That has always been what hip-hop is about, and that has always been the catalyst of hip-hop. But that had not been profitable and not been liked by the masses. Political mobility by the American Negro is not something that is popularized in America, as you may know. So this was a trifold attack when you bring in gangster rap. And this is the thing. So they brought in gangster rap to minimize the substance and the positive progressive effectiveness of the music, right? So now you don't have politicians and preachers arguing for the music because we took away the substance. We no longer give contracts to hip-hop artists who present songs with substance and growth and learning. We only give contracts and we only promote and cultivate artists who do quote-unquote gangster rap, and they created that term. And And when you characterize us as gangster rappers, you will cripple the community, cripple the art form, and it will have negative results on our children. And it did. Shout out to Ice Cube and Ice-T, who fought the record industry on a moniker of gangster rap. Let's keep going. The record industry was changing after Napster. They got caught by surprise by Napster. They got caught by surprise by the internet, Facebook, and how fast music was moving. Artists got surprised. It went from artists now selling music out the trunk to artists like Currency now giving away music for free. Since Napster had already broken the code and broken the mold of the music industry by giving away music for free, artists were now forced to go back to something in the beginning of hip-hop called mixtapes. Do you know what a mixtape? Mixtapes is what started hip-hop. After Napster broke the code and broke the mold of hip-hop, we had to go back to mixtapes. And mixtapes meant artists giving away high-quality music for free. The Wiz Khalifa, Currency, some of the best artists that you know today started in the mixtape genre. Dat Piff, Too Dope. We're not talking about 1 minute and 30 seconds. We're not talking about poppity bippity boppity. We're talking about substance was given away for free. What happened? I'll play a video to further elaborate and to further substantiate my claims. Executives like Akon created Capitol Records, Atlantic Records, and like you know and love, Def Jam Records. Def Jam Record was created by Russell Simmons, an ex-drug dealer who wanted to produce his brother Ron and his friend DMC. He was connected to the streets. He was connected to the birthplace of hip-hop. The unique thing about Russell Simmons and Def Jam, going back to Akon, is Russell Simmons' unique ability to define what is dope. Y'all remember the movie Dope? For all the young people watching, I don't mean dope like the illicit drug. I mean dope as in hotness, as in fresh, as I gotta have it right now, as in the best, newest music, no matter what. DMX, LL Cool J, Run DMC, Ja Rule, Jay-Z, Benny Siegel. Dope. An uncanny ability to choose talent. That was the CEO, owner, and creator of the record label. That was true at Capitol, Atlantic, and most of the record companies before this digital era. What happened with Russell Simmons and Def Jam? Now you might be understanding why certain individuals came under attack. They never broke this down to you. Do you understand that the CEO of Def Jam, the biggest, most prolific record label for all the artists that you ever heard of, actually had an ear for music? Think about that today. But you don't know, what is that song? But he don't know the meaning of dope when he clean into an R&B act that cleaner than a bar of soap. And I'm the dirtiest thing in sight. Matter of fact, bring out the girls and let's have a mud fight. That was Jizza, and they had already been in the record industry. That's why that lyric hit so hard, because he said, your A&R is a mountain climber, and he don't know the meaning of dope when he's clinging to an R&B act that's cleaner than a bar of soap. They had Jizza wearing a suit. They had RZA wearing a suit, and that's not Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang was back to Def Jam. Back to Run DMC, back to Wear What You Have on the Block, back to black and white, gritty, hardcore hip-hop. So Def Jam had Russell Simmons. And I gave you examples of other companies where the actual CEO had an ear for hip-hop and knew what dope was. And he wasn't a mountain climber A&R who don't know the meaning of dope. The actual CEO. Well, CEOs like Russell Simmons and Master P sold their companies. Russell Simmons sold Def Jam to Polygram for $250 million. And so went the record companies of the world. They all sold to major corporations. And we actually we talk about record deals, we talk about record companies, but we don't actually have record deals and record companies. And that's what I'm getting at of why we have Drake. Drake came in with the corporation. And the corporation wanted to produce. What does corporations do? It's just like the founder with McDonald's. McDonald's was good. McDonald's was healthy. Remember, they didn't want to go to a fake milkshake. They wanted to use real ice cream. They had a problem with selling their customers a powdered milkshake. They said it wasn't real. Drake is the powdered milkshake. And Polygram is the corporation, like the founder, Ray Kroc, coming to Def Jam saying, we can't afford to produce real ice cream and sell these niggas real ice cream. So we gonna make powdered, instant, quick, what they call it, soft serve. Drake is soft serve. So what does the corporation do? What did McDonald's do? We need to mass produce these burgers. We need 1 billion burgers sold. We need to sell you soft serve. We need to sell you, so we're going to not give you 100% meat patty. We're going to give you a 50% meat patty and give you sawdust and fillers and seasoning and sugar and salt so it tastes so good. But the burger will last for 30 days and never get stale. Drake is McDonald's. Drake is corporate fast food McDonald's. You leave Drake out for 30 days, his light-skinned ass don't melt. Corporation came in and said, I'm gonna mass produce this music and get as much profit as I can out of it. It's not mine. I don't care about the social ramifications. It's not my community. I don't care about the social impact. They're not my people. So I'm going to use Drake to create a brand new bar. I call it the race to the bottom. Do you know what the race to the bottom is? The race to the bottom is 2 styles of banana pudding. The banana pudding my grandmother made that is not cold in the traditional banana pudding until the following day, which is why grandmother would make the banana pudding on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. So when everybody came over, the banana pudding would have the consistency that you know and love the following day when grandmother pulled it out the refrigerator. But what happened after grandmother went away, somehow down the line, a new standard of banana pudding was created where you didn't take the process of making it the day before, the time of making the pudding and standing over the pudding and stirring it for 20 to 30 minutes from scratch that grandmother did because it hurt her elbow, but she did it out of love, out of love. The old standard is gone and a new standard replaces it. Why is this important? As you lower standards, this now becomes number one. So when number one was here before, think about it. Number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 was before the current number one. Do you guys understand the complexity I'm showing you here? This is grandmother's banana pudding. This is Run DMC. This is LL Cool J. This is Mos Def. This is Tupac Shakur. This is Drake. This is the banana pudding, the store-bought banana pudding put in the refrigerator, not cooked from scratch on the stove. Before you get to this store-bought banana pudding, there are 5 levels. They've dropped us down several levels. This is what Kendrick Lamar is rapping about when he says you're not like us. They have dropped us down several levels, and the new top floor is actually 5 floors beneath self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. Self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. With the key, sissies. This new number one is 5. And the scary part, when I watched it happen, is all the individuals I said to you say, oh, Drake is great. You think someone would have told you before now that, hey, they are lowering the standards for profit. The corporation now runs our genre of music. They have lowered the standard for profit. The songs are no longer even 3 minutes. What happened with Drake? Drake ushered in pop rap. He made the songs shorter, albums shorter, no more substance. This is setting you up for AI, where you no longer need an American Negro who has this passion and this innate ability to create these magical sounds that the whole world will dance to like the Pied Piper. We're going to lower the standard. We're going to lower the expectation of the audience. They no longer will look for 3 to 5 minute songs with content. Think about how difficult it was for Eminem and people like Eminem to make a song like Stan, 3 to 5 minutes where you were hanging on every bar and every verse to where you were in tears and you begged Eminem, make a song with 4 verses. To now Drake giving you less than 2 minutes of lack of substance and a poppy hook, a poppy gimmicky hook. But you guys said he was the best hook writer. Come to find out, Quentin Miller was the best hook writer. Most of your best songs came from reference tracks, and Drake didn't write the hook. He wasn't inspired because, like Akon said, he doesn't have character or originality, so of course, he never created any of your best songs that tugged on your heart. He doesn't have that ability. He's a mimic. So they use Drake to lower the standard of the music, to lower the quality of the music. And then they bring in the 360. So why Drake? Why Kendrick went so hard on Drake? Because Kendrick understands what no one has been able to intelligently, successfully explain to you. What we're doing today is explaining to you why Kendrick went so hard on Drake. Kendrick went so hard on Drake because why Drake exists and what Drake meant to his community. Drake existed to lower the standard. It's a race to the bottom of Black music and Black wealth. Not only were they making too much music with substance and progression, they were making too much money, i.e. Russell Simmons, Master P with the CEOs, and Suge Knight making billions of dollars with independent record companies. All of that relates back to Drake, and that's what Kendrick Lamar, why he took the moniker. So what happens after Drake and you cut the song down to 2 minutes, you take out the substance, you take out the dope, anyone can do it. Anyone could keep you captive for 1 minute and 30 seconds with a gimmicky, poppy hook. You got people like Ugly God. You had Little Johnny, Little Bobby, Little Pump. You had like Joe Budden explain all of the littles. What made a path for the littles? You think they never wanted to rap? They always existed, but they weren't able to make music because they did not have the ability to make good music. That's why you never heard of Lil Yachty, 21 Savage, Little this, Little Zane, Little. You did not hear about them because they did not have the ability to make substantive hip hop. They weren't dope. Drake, mediocre, poppy music makes a lane for the littles to come along with their mumble rap. You have to ask yourself, how did we accept mumble rap? What paved the way for mumble rap? It was Drake mimicking Lil Wayne, mimicking Soulja Boy, mimicking Forte, mimicking Quentin Miller, never being original, being an ultra pop. He killed hip hop. And the young people followed him, and the littles came along him with pop for the next 10 years. 2-minute songs about idiotic concepts. And they said to the older people, you are old because you don't like this gimmicky, poppy, idiotic music that is making corporations billions and dumbing down your children. We weren't allowed to critique Ugly God. We weren't allowed to critique Lil Yachty. We weren't allowed to critique all of the. Joe Budden was almost physically attacked for critiquing the little movement, the mumble rap movement. Joe Budden said it would have negative effects. No one listened. Oh, Lil Yachty had a 360 deal, did you? Joe Budden exposed that also with this lesser form of music that's not like Slaughterhouse, that's not like Move Music 1, 2, 3, and 4. The artist was getting lesser. The audience was getting lesser. Do you understand what happened? Not only did the artist get, but you got lesser as an audience. You got lesser and the audience got lesser. You know who won? The corporation, because the people who you thought owned the record companies no longer own those record companies. People who love music, who made Michael Jackson. See, these people who created Atlantic Records, Capitol Records, Def Jam, Motown, they love music. They were musicians. They were connected. They knew what good music was. Drake would have never made it past, and he didn't. Drake needed the corporation. Drake needed the 360. You know who else needed the 360? And I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but the 360 was created for Drake, artists like Drake and artists like Cardi B. Can Cardi B rap? Why hasn't Cardi B put out an album? Because she doesn't rap. She doesn't write, and she has nothing to say. I'm not insulting Cardi B, but she grew up in New York, so she knows how to, and she was a dancer, so she knows a lot about rhythm and what makes people move from her background, her ethnicity, but she doesn't write raps, and she doesn't have a need like a Rhapsody to write. She doesn't get it off like a Remy Ma who has to go in the booth because I've been holding this in. The only way I'm gonna get this out with my emotional state coming from my inner city, I gotta go rap. I gotta go talk about it on the microphone. Cardi B's not there. Drake's not there. They need the 360 to bolster my argument. Cardi B has remained the top female MC without rapping for 6 years. That couldn't have happened under the old system of Def Jam and record labels. That happens under the new system of corporations, pop gimmicky music, and the 360 deal, in which the company, the corporation, is married to the artist, and the corporation makes more money than the artist, but yet the artist makes money when the corporation makes money. So Britney Spears, Taylor Swift, Drake, Cardi B are tied to the corporation, and the corporation is tied to them. They need Cardi B to be relevant. This is what's happening with Meg Thee Stallion. No one can figure out why Meg Thee Stallion hasn't gone away. Well, Meg Thee Stallion has gone into business with a corporation, not a record company. And that corporation seeks to make money off of Meg Thee Stallion in a myriad of different ways. Sexually, musically, any way that they can exploit Meg Thee Stallion, they will for profit, and Meg Thee Stallion will get the crumbs off the table. Shout out to D Nice. Let's get to the video breaking down, bolstering my argument about the 360. I have several videos. We're going to run through them. We're going to come back, close it out, and you let me know in the comments what you think.
It's fucking 2013. Wow. But these niggas got me in a slave contract of 360. This is when I was knowledgeable. Wow. The fact, like, I never wanted to fuck with YouTube for the fact that they ran my page. I couldn't even run ads on my shit, get money on my shit, nothing, because they got it. So niggas was hindering me from growing as an artist. That's what made me go to EDM and this, that, and the third. To this day, I'm fighting. Like, I'm definitely about to try to sue him right now. Like, I ain't even want to do that. It's just point like, yo, my nigga, I don't even want that kind of energy. I'm not putting no music out. I'm not doing nothing. Why the fuck do y'all got my music? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was I did a deal with Warner Chappell as well. I had a publishing. A pub deal. I had a commitment deal. That's like a slave deal.
Give me the blunts.
You know what I'm saying? But guess what Warner Chappell do? Niggas so gangster, like, yo, you know what? Basically, niggas respect the legacy. Yo, we're gonna terminate the contract.
Yeah, Warner Chappell's good people.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Warner Chappell go, what the fuck's up with Warner Brothers?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that.
That's some cocksucker shit. Y'all niggas holding niggas YouTube that ain't signing.
To slavery. He's likening the 360 deal to slavery, where remember what Kanye West said, in perpetuity and beyond the stars, how they write these contracts to go in perpetuity beyond the stars. Like even if you were to have another body and your body was to live beyond this world, they would still have you under contract. But they want to tell you that's not slavery. That's a 360 deal. And somehow somebody will argue that made music better. A problem with the 360 deal, because if you understand the 360 deal, and I haven't got to the video yet, for me, it incentivized the corporation to make mediocre music and focus on the bottom line, which is the dollars and cents. Let's go to the next video, the next artist, on their opinion. I think this is Chance the Rapper.
The most important things, whether you do a streaming exclusive thing or not, is keeping your masters and your publishing, because those are the type of things, that's your IP, your intellectual property, that when you die, your kids and your wife will have. And that shit is, it can't even be appraised. Like, that shit is limitless in terms of the money that it can make. Your imagery, all that stuff gets signed away in 360 deals, and you don't even know that. You think you're signing for an album or something. You're signing away your likeness. You're signing away your merch opportunities. You're signing away so many different.
So your likeness in perpetuity, beyond your death, beyond your life. This is different. I think this is more intense. We haven't discussed and broken down what Drake meant, what Cardi B meant. How did they take us from 3-minute, 5-minute, Eminem, Stan, KRS-One to Drake using reference tracks from infinite sources? The #1 hip-hop artist using reference tracks from infinite sources, and the songs are not even 3 minutes long. Can we have a real talk, ladies and gentlemen? Can we talk about this? This is why I say anybody who's a Drake fan is not invited to my Thanksgiving. We're talking about songs going from 3 minutes to 7 minutes, having substantive value, to going to less than 2 minutes with gimmicky popping hooks that isn't even created by the person that you want to celebrate. And along with that came a 360 deal. In order to keep Drake at the #1 spot, you had to have the corporation in the 360 deal. For everybody wondering, it wasn't Drake's talent. It wasn't Drake's talent. It wasn't Drake's talent. It was never Drake's talent. It was the corporation. Do you think Cardi B's talent has made Cardi B the #1 artist? Is it Meg Thee Stallion's talent that keeps Meg Thee Stallion on your television? No! It's the 360 deal and the corporation buyout of black music. I'm going to bring you a record executive right now to tell you more in depth about the 360 deal, to bolster my argument.
The sale of records. So now they see the sales of records have gone down. So their way of making up for it is, instead of thinking through the business model and finding better ways to market and promote and to protect their product, they say, oh, we'll take other pieces of the artist. Now, that's not a business model in my estimation. That you take a young artist and you say, well, now we're going to take your touring, we're going to take your merchandising, we're going to take your publishing, in addition to your record rights. Does that mean that the record companies will now succeed because they're grabbing all these other pieces? No, I don't think so. And I don't think that is a substitute for the record companies finding a business model that works. Now, in addition to the fact, this is where I was going, in addition to the fact that the record companies seem to be unprepared for Sean Fanning and Napster when it came along, and unprepared for the digital age, and were very slow to react. They also were companies that were completely transformed from sole proprietorships to corporate monoliths. Now, the result of that was as follows. At one time, you had Herbie Alpert and Jerry Moss, who had A&M Records, and you had David Geffen, who had Geffen Records, and you had Ahmet Ertegun, who had Atlantic Records, and you had Dave Kapp, who had Kapp Records, and you had endless number of these, Johnny Mercer, who formed Capitol Records, All these were started by entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs who had an ear for talent. And they went out and they discovered, they nurtured this talent, and they ran these companies to a degree by the seat of the pants. If they believed in an artist, they signed the artist. If they believed that that artist would succeed ultimately, even though the first album or two albums failed, they would stay with it because they believed in it, and they rode with it. Now, as the major corporations came in and started buying up all of these entrepreneurs, they bought up A&M Records, they bought Geffen Records, they bought Atlantic Records, they just on and on. They bought, I can't remember, Seymour Stein's company, I forget the name of that company, the one who discovered Madonna. They bought one of these companies after another. Now, in order to buy these companies and pay $500 million or $600 million or $700, whatever the sums were that they were paying for all these vibrant companies, they had to borrow money. In order to borrow money, I mean, when they borrowed money, they had debt service. They had to pay off debts to accomplish this. In order to pay off debts, they started to firing the people that they bought. The very talented people, the very great A&R and talent discovery people, they started firing these people. So instead of it having a positive effect, it was having a negative effect. So now less great talent was being discovered and signed. The companies were cutting down on their marketing and promotion. And so they were hurting themselves.
Less great talent is being signed. The people who had the talent to find quality artists, they fired because of their obligations. So what happened? The ability of a record company to produce good music had left. The ability of a record company to find individuals to create good music has left. Now you understand why we're moving so quickly and fastly to the AI model. These are no longer record companies. These are corporations creating an assembly line and no longer creating art and music. Please listen. Thank you guys for listening. Leave a like, share, and comment. I am not even done. We are cooking. We are cooking.
While they were expanding. And so when you combine that aspect of it, the corporate debt that was imposed on these companies with the unpreparedness for the digital age, that's almost the perfect storm for a disaster in our industry. And that's what's happened. And that's why we find ourselves where we are today, or that's where we find ourselves today. And that's why this is the most major upheaval in our industry that I've ever seen. And I don't know how we're going to get out of it.
The 360 deal being ran by the corporation incentivizes companies to create Cardi B's, to create Meg Thee Stallions, to create Sexy Reds who don't know how to make art, who don't know how to make music, but it's okay because the system that Drake normalized doesn't need them to be able to make music.
It works. Well, they signed it. Well, now it's real fucked up because of the 360 deal, which Lior created, who's now running music at fucking YouTube, which I think there should be some accountability. But, you know, they sign an artist and they say, I want a third of your show, a third of your likeness. I want 90% of your master. Yep. You now have to ask me anytime someone wants to work with you or use your name or your visual. And, you know, we give you some money up front. And for that, it's like $1 million or whatever it may be, and they keep you in debt. And when you make that back, they give you a little more money, and they keep dangling that, but you become a slave to them. But really what should happen is you should be able to make your own record. You can put it out on your own. You can make your own videos. You don't need nobody for that because it's digital. And then have somebody do your shows and get 100% of your show and 100% of your merch. And someone should show you how to do it as opposed to robbing you. See, that's what I did. I showed Jay-Z how to do it. I showed Kanye how to do it. I showed Kevin Hart how to do it. It doesn't make business sense for me to educate the people I'm robbing or making money off of, because logically they're going to cut out the middleman. But I put my consciousness and my respect for them over my greed.
On your ass. Watch this video so you can see the next video in this playlist. This is not my first time going on this topic, and it won't be the last. Shout out to the person on my podcast. Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'm out.